Okay, in the previous example, we saw that when we don't have mouth shapes, we get to create them using the pen tool, maybe the path tool, deform the current mouth shape that you have. In example 1, which was the lady there, we took the original smile from the illustration and we kind of made it into a poker face. We made the surprise face, a shocked face, a sad face, and all that. But there are times when you download these projects, these illustrations, and they give you the mouth shapes themselves. So for example, this character that I downloaded, it actually came with different mouth shapes, eye shapes, and I guess eyebrow shapes as well. So this makes it easier for me to just use what the designer gave me, in this case Freepik, what Freepik gave me, and I could simply just switch around between the mouths and the eyes and the eyebrows whenever I'm trying to change the expression of my character. This way, I don't have to design the things myself using the pen tool like we did in example 1. But even if your character doesn't have any of these, in the previous example, we saw how to solve the problem. So let's go back into After Effects. And for this lesson, I've actually combined and connected the eye whites. Let me come up here. So it's the pupils are in one layer because they move together. The eye whites are in a layer 2. And that way it's going to be easier for me to make them blink, make them move their eyes around because everything needs to be done exactly the same way. We cannot have one of his pupils moving the other way while the other one moves the opposite direction, unless you're going for a specific expression, but the ones we're going to be creating today does not require that type of layers. So just go ahead and import your, let me go here, in the facial expressions folder, get all 3, not 3, just these 2, character by Freepik full body and businessman expressions.psd, imported as composition, retain layer sizes. And also, I went ahead and separated the mouth shapes from the project that I got from Freepik. So in the expressions, if we double click, we have all of the mouth shapes and the eye shapes that we need for this lesson. So they're each in a separate layer. You can see the eyes are separate, mouth is, and all that. And we're just going to be using this throughout our lessons. So let's go back in here and we're going to start one by one. So the base of all this is the head. Let's go ahead and find the head. It's called the face. Let's rename it to head. So we need to connect everything that's on the head to the head. So that includes the pupils, eye whites, not the arm. Let's move the arm there. So everything, eye whites, mouth, both eyebrows, top hair, we're going to get the pick whip here and attach it to the head. So if I move my head, it's going to be on the head. And again, like previous lesson, select the head layer, get your anchor point, and put the anchor point right at the tip of the neck. So it moves like a normal head would. Alright, so now if I were to hit R on my head layer and turn on the stopwatch, my character is going to be moving everything that's on his head. So I'm going to go for +7, and then here let's go for -7. Just type it in. Select all keyframes, hit F9. So really slowly my character is going to be looking back and then looking forward. And like we did in the previous example, we're going to go through the expressions one by one. So right now we're working with the normal happy face. So I'm just doing a really slight head movement. Hit M on head, we're finished with the head. Go to top hair, and like we did with the previous lessons, we're going to use the puppet pin tool to kind of create a fluffy hair effect. And we can do that by putting some pins around the areas that we want to move. Make sure you put some in the areas that you don't want to move as well. You're just letting the position pin tool know that you don't want these areas to move. And then get the starch pen, and we're going to put them in the areas that we do not want to be deformed. So that would be like the middle here, just the corners here. Put those there, and there we are. So this is just going to ensure that we're not kind of squishing the hair in an unnatural way. Go back to the puppet position pin tool, go in the beginning of your timeline, turn on the mesh stopwatch. So if he's going back at around 2 seconds, he goes all the way back, we can zoom in and just simply move these guys backwards. Again, be careful not to deform the shape. If you saw that it's moving like that, just make sure it's really slight movement. So this guy goes, I guess, upwards. Don't touch these. When he comes back down, we get to bring things back down. Kind of expanded back to the original position. All right. And then in the between, I want to add another position just so I can add more of a movement so it's visible. I'm going to make them kind of come forward towards the left. This is optional, so his hair is just going to be moving in different directions because the head is moving. And we can also add another half effect here. If he's going backwards, let's kind of move the hair down towards the opposite direction here. So it kind of goes inwards, and that's just going to make the hair movement look more natural. Kind of creates that fluffy hair effect. Let's hit fit, hit M on top hair. We're done with top hair. Let's get the eyebrows. Select both, hit P to zoom in again. We're still dealing with the face. Turn on the stopwatch, and let's say when he goes back, his eyebrows go up. Use the cursor so you are changing the X position as well as the Y position. Then it comes down here, we can bring back the eyebrows. Select all keyframes, hit F9, and he's just going to move his eyebrows up and then down like so. Alright, done with the eyebrows, hit M. Don't touch the mouth right now, we're going to get into that because we have different expressions. For the eyes, we're going to first get our Effects and Presets tab and look for Set Matte. Apply Set Matte to pupils. And in pupils, we're going to just, first let's create shape layers. Forgot to do that. Select both pupil and eye whites, right click, create shapes from vector layer, delete those two, the previous Adobe Illustrator files. Rename this so it's not as long, just pupils and eye whites. Now we can go ahead and add Set Matte on pupils and go to Take Matte from layer and put it on eye whites. Alright, we're good to go. You can hit P on pupils in the beginning of your timeline, turn on the stopwatch, and maybe if he's moving that way, we can make him move in like that. And then when he comes back, we can maybe bring it this way. But by putting the Set Matte, the eye pupils stay inside, which is really important. We're going to do that. Make sure you add the Set Matte no matter what. So his eyes are normal, he looks to the side, and then he looks to the other side. Simple eye movement. We can even make it faster if we want. So he's looking forward, he looks slow to the side, and then he looks fast when he's retreating. And then we're going to hit M on pupils, and on eye whites, we want him to blink. Let's close that. Deselect all of the layers and get your rectangular tool to make a rectangle as long and as tall as the eye whites. So it covers it up completely. Move it out of the frame. And then use the crease to guide yourself when you're rotating. So because our character isn't looking straight at the camera, we need to make it look in a good way. -2 degrees. And then we can just move it out of frame for now. Let's call this blink. Make sure that your fill has color. I usually like to go for the color white. Just make sure that there is no stroke. Hit M, bring blink on top of eye whites. Go to eye whites, toggle switches and modes until you're seeing the track matte, and change the track matte to alpha inverted matte blink. And now these two are connected. That's why they need to be on top. Blink goes on top of eye whites, just as how our eyelids go on top of our eye whites. Hit P on blink, turn on the stopwatch, move in a few frames so he looks like this. And then, oh, and also don't forget to, let's delete that, connect the blink to the head as well. It's still part of the face. And we can just move in a few frames, turn on the stopwatch, and around here we can make him blink. Close the eyes like so. And then around here we can just do that again. But we need to first bring it back up. Let's bring it back up, completely out of the eye whites. Come in here and make another keyframe for where it is. Come a few frames forward. And again, remember not to make the blinking sessions identical. If one is slow, the other one should be fast, because that's just how people blink. They're not robots. Hit F9. And let's turn off the pupil for a second, just so we can observe the blinking. All right, so I'm happy with the blink. But now I just detached the blink from the track matte, put it on no track matte for now. We're going to bring back to pupils. Select the pupils and eye whites, right click. Let's pre-compose this so they stay together. Bring eyes below blink, and we're just first going to attach eyes to head. There we are. And now we can set the track matte to alpha inverted blink. So he's just blinking. And the eye position is kind of off. We have to fix that. Hit P. Don't turn on the stopwatch. And just bring it back to where the things are. IR. Hit R as well. Set this to 0. Then we can bring this back to the original position. So now it's going to blink like so. It's looking good. Hit M. And always make sure that blink and eyes stay like this. So blink always goes on top of eyes. If I bring another layer in between, it's just not going to work out. You can see the character is no longer blinking. So just don't touch these. We can even lock them if you feel like you may mix them up. And I think that's enough for this smile. You can see he's just a smiling character. He's blinking, he's looking around. And we just used the first mouth shape. Let me open this up again. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 more mouth shapes, which we may not use all, but it's helpful to know what you're working with. All right, so we made our character smile, and he's just blinking and moving as he normally would. Now let's move on to the next part where we're going to make him get a poker face. So he's listening to someone right now. Then he hears something, he loses the smile. So we're going to make him lose the smile in the second part.